Hey folks, it's King from Stay Tuned Sports, and I gotta tell you, I love energy drinks. They help give me that boost that I need to finish all my work, get through game film recaps from all of Sunday's games, and they provide that pick-me-up during a very long week. What I don't love is that crash and the jitters, the gross feeling you get with most other energy drinks. And that's why I tried Dubby, and I gotta tell you, Dubby is a game changer with flavors like Dragonade, Beach and Peach, Galaxy Grenade, and my personal favorite, the Dub Sludge. You can find your favorite or just get them all. There's no jitters, there's no crash because there's no sugar in Dubby. Plus, Dubby contains Neurofactor, an all-natural ingredient derived from coffee cherries, which has been linked to enhance brain function. You go on over to dubby.gg right now. That's dubby.gg to grab the best energy drink you've ever had. And if you enter the code STSports18 in all caps, you'll get 10% off your order. That's STSports18 to get 10% off of Dubby. Be better.
And hello there, all you stay tuned. Hey, listen, it might be Eagles. I hate the Eagles. Don't get me wrong here. First quarter, keep it even. Second quarter, start running the fucking ball. Third quarter, take a power nap. Fourth quarter, oh shit, there's the rest of the game. Let's go.
Fuck it, I'm a diabetic. I will root for the team that will literally give me diabetes and death. Rooting for a team from Hershey is like a Catholic rooting for Satan. It doesn't make any sense.
This is Stay Tuned Sports, and it starts in 3, 2, 1.
And hello there, all you Stay Tuners. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tuned Sports. It's your good friend Jimbo here. King could not make it today, so we're not going to talk about the Super Bowl at all.
Bung, 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 bung. Fly, Eagles, fly. Come on, Jimbo, join in on the road to
It should be fly, refs, fly.
Hey. Come on, yeah.
Fly, refs, fly, and Mahomes is a little bitch.
Oh, please. Stop.
Oh, I got so much ammunition for this show today.
Dude, I'm ready. Let's go. This is going to be a shootout. We started this on Sunday night. I've been waiting patiently for 3 fucking days for today, man. Today is ready to go.
This may be the first ever virtual bare knuckle fight here.
Dude, this is gonna be as close to like Skip Bayless almost getting Shannon Sharp to punch him in the face that this show might have ever get. This is gonna be a good one. Guys, you don't want to miss this one.
That's why in my head earlier today, I'm Italian. I gotta watch my hands so I don't hit the mic and watch the mic go flying across.
I'm from Jersey. I gotta worry about the same thing. I'm Irish and German, but my hands, hey, boppity boopy, hey, gabagool, as you say.
So I'll let you start it off.
What's that?
I said I'll let you start it off here.
You're gonna let me start it off? Well,
yeah.
Here's the thing. This is. Oh my God! This is gonna be an intense episode.
Yeah.
This is gonna be intense.
I already feel my blood pressure going up.
Dude, I'm ready to go. Like, I haven't stopped smiling since I turned the mic on. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just I can't stop smiling. I don't know why. It's just one of those things. You just can't do it. But before we even get into any of that, because I know it's going to be an intense episode. It's going to be intense. Everybody, you should be strapped in right now, ready to go. But before we get into any of that, I do have to talk about something. And all year we've noticed how you've been a massive supporter of your Philadelphia Eagles and have helped to bring them up. And you always yelled at me whenever I picked them lower than they should have been in the power rankings, which was not true. They were ranked exactly where they were supposed to be. But you are an avid supporter. And we here at Stay Tuned Sports, we also have an avid supporter. And that supporter is Manscaped. Yes, Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. See how they did that little rhyming? That's very nice. I like that. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Trust us. We know. We use it. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer. And listen, it's just for you. 20% off That's right, 20% and free worldwide shipping, because we have listeners in like Austria, don't we?
Oh yeah,
I think like Germany, Ireland. Austria. Yeah, we got listeners everywhere. If you're listening anywhere, this is 20% off, free worldwide shipping with the code STSports18. You put that code STSports18 in at manscaped.com. When you order, you get 20% off, free worldwide shipping. Now, also it says here, in this, believe it or not, I'm actually reading from a read here, so don't believe that. It says, if the math's correct, that's 14 million balls. However, I think the one thing that Manscaped is forgetting here is that a significant amount of people have 3 balls.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of Tres Huevos out there. And also, there's some people who, through either birth or unfortunate accidents, have 1 ball.
John Kruk.
That, you see what I mean? You know. So, my brother, my own brother, only has 1 ball.
Wow.
So, yeah, no, look at that. You know, so that 14 million. I mean, you can make an estimate about it, but it's not completely accurate.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But anyway, with the Performance Package 4.0. Man, I'm telling you, it's a game changer. Inside that package, you're going to have the Lawnmower 4.0. It's the trimmer. Listen, it's going to make it look good. You trim the bushes, makes the tree stand taller, looks nice. Your lady's going to love it, especially with Valentine's Day just passed. This would have been a perfect time for that. But listen, it's never too late, because every day is Valentine's Day, guys. All right? And listen, if you do this for your lady, every day is going to be Valentine's Day for you, if you know what I mean. You also get the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, which we were talking about last week. We could not stop raving about, still can't stop raving about. This thing makes your balls just pleasant. It's just a lovely time there down under when you use the Crop Preserver. You're going to love it. Your lady's going to love it. If you sit on the bus, people are going to like it. You know, I always worried that my balls smell anyway.
Yeah.
So actually having the Crop Preserver for the first time, I have ball confidence that my balls aren't smelling like terribly. Whether my balls did or not, I always had that fear, like, I think my balls smell. I think that, you know, you're always worried about it. Like, I don't know, some people may not. I'm one of those guys that's like, I'm always afraid I stink. I'm always afraid to smell. Even right out of the shower, I think I might stink. Crop Preserver, that thing is going to help you out with that and give you the confidence you need to dangle your balls all over the place. You're going to love it. You get the Crop Reviver toner. So, you know, it's like a ball conditioner.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a bowling ball. If you ever put that like in a bowling ball machines, you know, get it all nice and shined up there. That's what that's going to do for your balls. It's going to be great. You got the Performance Boxer Briefs. Simply the most comfortable boxer briefs I've ever worn. Bar none. I will put that out there right now. These things are just, it's like putting a cloud on your taint. Man. Yep. It is so great. It's just, it's so comfortable. And get this. You get a travel bag, a very nice travel bag, I might add.
Yes.
To hold all of your stuff, all this great new stuff that you have from Manscaped in their Performance Package 4.0. You get this nice little travel bag to go with you. Guys, you're going to want to get this. Go to manscaped.com right now. You put in the code STSports18 there at checkout, and you get 20% off and free worldwide shipping. Manscaped, they give you the right tools for the job there.
And let me add something too. You know, a lot of these places with the shipping, free shipping, you still wait like, 2 weeks for the stuff to get here and this and that. And when they actually gave us some trial stuff to try out, it only took about 2-3 days from the time that they said it shipped. And I'm thinking, okay, they must have did priority mail just for us to try this out. So I actually just bought the deodorant that is on their website. I believe I bought that Friday and I got it Monday. So it's like 2-3 business days and it's here.
Not even business days. If you ordered it on Friday and got it on Monday.
Yeah.
The fact that it's basically shipped over the weekend and you get it that's incredible right there. So that just tells you the service right there. And the other thing, I didn't bring this up, but this is a very important thing, especially for someone like me. Why am I blanking on a name again?
The beard,
your trimmer, hedge trimmer, the lawnmower. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Because here's the thing, I love Manscaped. The names sometimes get a little used to. You have the lawnmower, you have the hedge trimmer, you have the beard hedger, which is also something that you can buy over at manscaped.com, which I also have fantastic for someone with me who has a nice luscious beard like I do. So you're gonna love that. But the lawnmower, waterproof. So you can do it in the shower. You just shave your balls right in the shower. You don't have to worry about trying to stand in front of a mirror in front of the sink, getting your pubes all over the place, and just being. I mean, listen, the fact that your crotch is going to be trimmed, your lady's going to love it. But if she has to walk into a bathroom sink full of pubes, she's not going to be that thrilled. Yeah. I'm gonna let you know that right now. So the fact that you can bring this thing to the shower, shave your pubes all in there, that's going to be a huge, huge benefit as well. So now not only are your pubes shaved and you got a nice looking from under area, now she also doesn't have to worry about getting pubes on, when she's brushing her teeth in the morning. This is all good things here, because that's the thing. You get rid of your pubes on your area there.
Yeah.
Like, because she doesn't want to deal with your pubes.
Yeah.
So why would you put your pubes from your area onto the sink? Who wants to do that? Nobody wants to do that. This is perfect. This is why you go to manscaped.com. You put in that code STSports18, get you 20% off right there at manscaped.com. Beautiful stuff.
Really is.
Okay.
And that will be all for this week. We'll see you guys next week.
Here we go, baby. Here we go.
All right.
I'm excited. Here we go. I'm excited. Woo!
Let me start by saying this.
Okay.
For everybody, I would say from week 8, 9, week 10 maybe on, the Eagles got an easy schedule. Oh, they got an easy schedule.
You did. You guys had maybe one of the easiest schedules in the NFL.
All right. We make the playoffs. Oh, you had the easiest way to get to the Super Bowl.
You did. You did.
So then that must mean the Chiefs had the easiest way to get to the Super Bowl too, because we almost beat them. And I'm not going to say because of the refs or anything like that, but if you really, really think about it, that fumble that Jalen Hurts had, which there was a face mask on there that was missed.
No, because here's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the Chiefs and the Eagles weren't evenly matched. I'm not saying that the Eagles weren't a good team, because they are. Obviously, they're a very good team, and they belonged. They where they were. I think what people like me and people like that were saying is, when you saw the Eagles, beat the Giants again, what was it, 38-10 or whatever the hell it was?
Yeah.
And you see them crush the 49ers because they murdered both their quarterbacks and they didn't have anybody back there to throw the ball. And you see things like that, and people are going like, "Well, the Chiefs don't have a chance. The Eagles are gonna crush them. Oh, Eagles are gonna go. The Kansas City's never gonna do. Doesn't have anything. I mean, to the point where nobody on these pundit shows or on the morning shows or anything like that were picking Kansas City. Everybody was picking the Eagles. The point we're making with that is not that the Eagles were a bad team, but that the simple fact of the matter is that their road to get where they got was easier than the Chiefs' road to get there. And I mean, let's face facts. The Chiefs played a better team in the Jaguars in the divisional round. As much as I like the Giants were not standing up to the Eagles. They're just we weren't there.
Yeah.
And in the AFC Championship game, clearly the Bengals were a much better team than the 49ers, if for any other fact that they had an actual functioning quarterback.
Yeah.
So when you look at it from that perspective, and then you look at strength of schedule, you look at the record of the teams that the Philadelphia had to play during it does come off as easy. Does that diminish the fact that the Eagles were more than likely the best team in the NFC? No. I think the Eagles were arguably with the 49ers with a healthy quarterback. If the 49ers had a healthy quarterback, that NFC Championship game is a lot closer and a lot more interesting. And again, who knows what happens? But the fact that Brock Purdy's knocked out within 5 plays and the backup quarterback's knocked out before the second half, it rendered all that moot. So there's not a real way to judge how the 49ers would have played. Now, the Eagles may have still won that game with a fully healthy Brock Purdy. Absolutely.
And that's the thing is if Brock Purdy played the whole game and we won, the questions would have still been the same thing.
No, I don't think so.
But the other thing too, I don't understand is.
But here's the other thing too: is the
Niners had an easier schedule.
I don't think there was. Yeah, but the Niners also had the massive quarterback issues, and they also see again. I think it's a matter of perspective. They had the fact that they had a rookie quarterback. They had the fact that they had a mess in the quarterback situation, whether it was Trey Lance and then Jimmy Garoppolo and that whole thing and everything else that was going on. But my thing was like. You're talking about how the Eagles were being talked about and disrespected going to the Super Bowl. They weren't. Like you had some people like me who were sitting there saying, the Eagles I think had an easier road to get to the Super Bowl than the Chiefs did or anybody else did. But the fact that the majority of people were saying, "Oh, the Eagles are too dominant. The Eagles are great on defense. The Eagles are great on offense. They can't be stopped. No one can get by them. They've shored up everything. There's no way the Eagles lose this game. This might actually be a blowout. I don't even know if it's going to be particularly close and da-da-da-da-da." So I think, the idea that the Eagles were getting somehow this massive amount of disrespect that's a false narrative. I think, if anything, the Eagles were getting their tires pumped to a ridiculous fucking amount. Where the point is where if you try to bring up the fact that, hey, maybe they are a little bit untested, as one would like to say, instead of saying they had an easy schedule or an easy road there, maybe they're a little untested. People were just poo-poo you right out of the thing. It's like, you just hate the Eagles. You just hate the Eagles. Granted, I do hate the Eagles, but I thought it was a valid, not argument, but an observation. It was a valid observation.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was an invalid one in the first half.
It was invalid for about 58 minutes. Then goddamn fucking ref have to get involved. But go ahead.
You're gonna pound that narrative, aren't you?
All right, let's get into the game now. So the reason why I have a big issue with the call is we all saw that, what was in the first quarter, I think it was, that, and I'll admit, the Eagles defender mauled the Chiefs guy, and I even texted you.
Hooked his arm, blatantly hooked his arm. Right.
Everything. You set the standard for the game with that call. Nothing under that should be called.
That's
anything
untrue.
Above that should be called.
Untrue.
Especially at the end of the game like that, when it was a game-changing call.
At the end of the day, a penalty is a penalty.
And it shouldn't have been a penalty anyways.
It should have been a penalty because he held him.
It was within 5 yards.
His jersey. What's that?
It was inside the 5-yard zone. Where
you can't hold. You can make contact within 5 yards. You can't hold.
If the receiver makes contact first, that you could.
No, you can't hold at all. You cannot pull on the jersey. I don't know where you learned NFL refereeing or the official rule book, but that is not the case whatsoever. And that was a penalty. It was holding. Well, it wasn't catchable. The reason it wasn't catchable is because he fucking held him.
Even if he didn't hold him, he was not catching that ball.
It doesn't. First of all, it doesn't matter. Second of all, he still held him to the point where Bradbury came out and said he held him. And the argument that is
you could call holds on every play.
Oh my God, right? But it doesn't matter because it's still a penalty.
So why isn't it called?
At the end of the day, it's still a penalty.
No, and it is.
This is going to be my argument here. One of my many arguments, because the Eagles crying is so delicious. I've loved it all.
And that's the funny part. It's not just Philly fans either.
Everybody screams about the NFL being scripted. NFL's rigged.
It is.
Oh, they have this all scripted out. They have it all rigged and everything like that. So, but what people wanted, they were like, we got robbed of a great finish because the ref threw a flag. We got robbed of seeing a classic end to a Super Bowl because the ref got flagged. So here's the thing. Do you want the games to be called right and correctly, which everybody bitches about? That's what we want. We want more reviews, and we want this stuff because we want the games to be called right. We want to get the right calls on the field. Or do you want what's going to set up a good narrative or a good ending, a good finish? Because you can't have it. You guys say you want A, and then you cry because you didn't get B. It has to be A or B. It cannot be A and B. A and B are completely separate things. You can't ask for both. So either you ask to have the calls made right, or you ask to have a good narrative and have the NFL kind of look the other way and rig things so that we get a good finish. That's it. That's the end of the line.
Here's how I would respond. We have New York to expedite replays and things like that.
Right.
When it's a crucial call like that, why can't New York call down and be like, listen, that was a little bit ticky-tacky, pick the flag up and...
Because they're never going to do that, because when they look at that in New York, they're going to... No.
Yes.
Because this is what I'm saying. If New York takes a look at that, what are they going to see? They're going to see Bradbury pulling his jersey. That's a good call, flag stands.
Yeah, but it didn't impede him.
What's that?
It didn't impede him. He was already gone.
Bradbury got beat.
Yes.
Bradbury got beat and went and grabbed somebody. That's a holding.
And he was already
5
past him,
yards,
so it wasn't
automatic
like
first down. You're just pissed because it happened within the 2-minute warning. And that it see, this is the thing. People, the refs robbed us of a great finish. No. James Bradbury robbed everybody of a great finish because he had to grab somebody's jersey because his lame ass got beat.
So what about the missed face mask on the fumble?
What missed face mask on a fumble?
When Jalen Hurts fumbled, he has face mask grabbed. He
fumbled that himself.
And he has face mask grabbed.
When?
As
I have seen not a single person talk about that.
Okay, I'll show you the picture.
And I never even saw that.
Of course.
God forbid. At the end of the day, and even so, at the end of the day, a lot like the first interference call that we were talking about that wasn't called. Listen, at times there are going to be missed calls.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, if somebody misses one call, then they should never call anything else again.
There was
nope. It's a free for all. Everybody hold. Everybody grab face masks. Everybody fucking just do whatever. Pass interference doesn't fucking matter. Just do all of that.
There was a lot of
what you're saying.
There was a lot of
that'll be the standard. That's the standard now for how it is, because a ref missed a call where a receiver's arm got hooked and didn't call pass interference on that. Now anything that isn't basically a sexual assault in the middle of the field doesn't get called. No, that's not how that works. Sometimes missed calls happen. Absolutely. What happened on that last drive where Bradbury got called for the holding, that wasn't a missed call. That was a correctly made call that happened at a critical juncture that the Eagles could ill afford because they had already spent the timeout, first of all, which was a bad decision on Sirianni's part. And when Kansas City's driving, listen, you need that timeout there. They didn't get it. And then they get there, you figure, all right, we stopped them on a third down, but you have a critical penalty. That's not on the refs. That's not the refs' job to bail the Eagles out. That's on Bradbury. He got beat. Sorry, he got. And whether or not, who he held, Juju or
Juju Shyster
or McKinnon, whoever
Juju
he
Shyster.
held. Stop.
That's what he fucking is. He's another hit list on mine.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Can't wait till next year when we play them. If he gets re-signed by Casey.
The point is like whether or not he was going to catch it is the fact that Bradbury held him. He held him, clearly held him, to the point where the ref, and you don't think the referee in that moment is thinking, fuck. Because he's going to be the one now. Like, the referees have a fucking self-awareness. But here's the thing. It's so blatant that if you don't call that, then the narrative is blatant hold. Ref didn't call it.
But there were so many missed calls that no one will be like, oh, my God, 10 years from now, remember so-and-so ref? They will not remember his name.
No, nobody missed a goal. Yeah, like the pass interference that wasn't called in the Saints-Rams NFC Championship game. Yeah, nobody remembers that.
Don't remember the ref's name.
Nobody remembers those missed calls, right?
The call, yes, but do you remember the ref's name that called it?
No.
Exactly.
No, but the fact of the matter is you can Google that and find that out real quick, though. Anybody can do that. That's what I'm saying. It's like, but you never want to do that. Like you don't want like your whole thing here is like the ref shouldn't interfere in the game. They shouldn't insert themselves. The referee didn't insert himself. The ref did his fucking job, and he's getting crucified for it from Eagles fans.
That's my point. That's my point. Is why did he insert himself into that ticky-tack call compared to...
He didn't insert himself into a ticky-tack call. He saw a hold.
Why didn't he call the first one?
By Bradbury. I don't know if that was it. The one that was missed may not have been his call.
It should be.
That one was probably... No.
Same side of the field.
No. Yes. It was in the middle of the field.
That was left side of the field.
No, it was middle of the field.
Well, left field if you're looking at the defense.
Bradbury's was on the left side of the field.
Yeah.
And not only that, but the teams were going the opposite ways anyway at that time. That's what I mean. Is like the referees have their certain spots. And the other thing is that this isn't a crew that worked together all year. Again, as we know, and I think that's something that needs to change as well.
I think we brought that up.
Crews and not do these all-star crews.
Yeah.
But the point of the matter is maybe one official would see that and be like, okay, that's not what I would do, or like I'm going to let somebody maul a receiver and not throw a flag, and that's how I'm going to let the boys play like that, which is, first of all, stupid. I don't think that was the thought. I think that was just a missed call. But even if that was going to be the case, then at least you have the officials there who work together, know each other, and know how everybody calls the game, how each one of them looks at it, sees it, and can support each other that way. But in this case, you have one who maybe just missed a call, or I don't think somebody would blatantly miss or not call that pass interference call that was missed in the first quarter. But then you have what happened in the last drive there, where again it's a clear holding. It is a clear holding. As much as you want to fight about it, as much as you want to bitch about it, it was a clear holding. And that's the thing that bothers me with the whole thing is that everybody bitches and screams about there being a script and the NFL runs like worse than WWE and all this other shit. Listen. And then on the same hand, we'll complain that all they want is to have the right calls made. Let's get everything right. Let's make sure that we don't have any mistakes on the field. Well, here you have something that wasn't a mistake by the official, that was called correctly by the official, and people are still bitching about it because they want it to be, we wanted to have a great finish. So either you want a fucking WWE scripted narrative or you want the game to be called correctly. You can have A and you can have B, but you can't have A and B. You can't have fucking both. Pick which one you want and then enjoy that for what it is and stop bitching about one or the other. The end.
If there was more consistency in the calls, I think it would have been a lot different.
Listen, at times you're going to get missed calls. I agree with listen.
But when it's blatant like that first one, come on, even I'm admitting.
Okay, so that's a missed call, but that's what I mean. That's a missed call. That's not a referee's decision of let the boys play. That's just a missed call. That's what that is.
It could have been, again, if it's not the same ref, it could have been that ref's decision. Let the boys play. No referee is going to look at a receiver's arm getting hooked and make that conscious decision to not throw the flag. That's not the case there. That one I think is clearly just a missed call, and that happens. Yeah,
and mistakes like that happen. But I will say this: I would rather the mistake happen with the call not happening than a mistake with a flag being thrown when there was no penalty. And that's the thing: is did he miss a blatant call with that pass interference? Yes, but this referee threw the holding flag, and it wasn't a phantom holding. It wasn't something that didn't happen. And he just threw it, and because if that's the case, if you're watching the footage and you see the clips, and you see nothing except maybe a bump at the line, and then they move, and it's then I'm with Eagles Nation here saying, nah, you guys got fucking hosed. That's a bullshit call. But that's not the case. That's not what happened here. What happened here was that Bradbury grabbed the fucking receiver by the jersey because he got beat off the fucking line. And the referee threw the flag, and that caused the Eagles to have no chance to drive down the field for a chance to either tie or win the game. That is on James Bradbury. That is not on the official. That is not on Kansas City. That's not on anybody else except for Bradbury. It's the same thing as the Bengals player who hit fucking Mahomes out of bounds. The reason that the Bengals are not in the Super Bowl and the Chiefs were, or didn't at least have an opportunity to go, It's not because of the officials. It's not because of anything. And as much as you want to argue about giving them an extra down and not being the best in that game, which they weren't, they were fucking terrible in that game, in an AFC Championship game. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, that last play, that is on the Bengals player there, not the official, not anybody else. You can't do that. That was his mistake.
Yeah.
Same thing here. This was Bradbury's mistake, not the officials, not the NFL's, nobody else. Bradbury cost the Eagles a chance to tie or win the game. That's on him.
Now,
And he owned up to it.
no,
And credit to him
yeah,
for taking that and saying, I did it. I was hoping he was going to let it slide. He didn't. That's at least he acknowledged the fact that that was his. That's my bad. I fucked up.
yeah.
I wish the Eagles fans could have the same self-awareness that fucking James Bradbury does.
But maybe again, he thought, okay, earlier we got, away with one, or they haven't been calling it all games, so maybe I'll
Maybe, because
limits.
listen, defenders try to do it all the time. They push
Yeah.
and push and try to see where the line is. What can they do? I know one of the famous sayings is they can't throw a flag on every play. You know, that was one of the defensive backs love that saying. Yeah, well, you can grab here or there because they're not going to throw it on every play. But the problem is when you make it obvious, they're going to throw the flag. And they did. And they did it at a crucial point where you couldn't do that. And that's the other thing that he has to remember too. And that's maybe a self-awareness lapse that he had, is understanding where they were on that field and with the time left. And like maybe he did, again, looking at everything, maybe he didn't even need to grab him. We don't know.
Yeah.
Because he impeded them enough to make sure that he didn't get anywhere near the ball. But he may not have needed to actually do that and do the holding.
Yeah.
But the fact that he did screwed everything up. And then even if the Chiefs score a touchdown there, the Eagles offense, granted, only scored, and this is another point, they only scored 11 points in the second half. That's, something bad. But they had the ability to go down and score and get you to overtime. So, even if you give up a touchdown, it's bad, but it's not the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like you were going to go give up a touchdown and you're down 10 points or 14. Like, you give up a touchdown, you'll be down 7. You still got a chance.
Yeah.
But now that you held him, now they can bleed the clock. Now you got no shot.
Yeah.
Now you got nothing.
Yeah. As soon as that happened, the wife and the son was like, okay, we're going to bed. I said, yeah, it's probably best you guys do.
Don't say that. It makes you sound like a monster.
Oh, dude, I was.
Daddy gonna be mad.
I was bad. I was mad. So like, maybe we'll talk some coaching news later on in the show here, but I want to talk about Gannon for a second here.
Tell you what, man.
You know how I've bashed him all year long, and how I wanted him gone from week 3. I don't put this loss on him.
I'll tell you what, though. For the Eagles defense that was getting lauded, I was going to say, man, Kansas City's going to get murdered. They're going to get how many sacks is the Eagles defense going to get? The Chiefs got no chance. They got no running game. It's going to be all Mahomes. It's going to have to be Mahomes that wins the game. Boy, that running defense all of a sudden looked like they were playing against the Commanders again. Pacheco there was just slicing and dicing on them. The Eagles had a grand total of 0 sacks against the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line, which if you asked anybody before the game, even people who were supporting Kansas City were probably going to say, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. The Eagles defense, especially where they've been playing, they should get a couple sacks. Anyway, they did not. There's a lot to unpack there with the Eagles defense.
You ready to get triggered?
I don't know. We'll see. I'm not usually a triggerable person, but
I blame the field for the reason why we didn't get sacks.
And they both had to play.
No, I understand that.
To play on that field.
I totally understand that, and I'm not saying that's the reason why the Chiefs won or just not.
And the offensive line had to play on that same field, and if anything, they were probably in a worse position because they got to go. pounding themselves backwards.
Yeah. We have to come around the corner, and when if you watch Reddick and I forget who's on
going backwards is harder to do. You're going to slip on your head. Like that's
when you're getting lower and all your weight's in the front there. Your legs are going to kick out from underneath you.
I think the Chiefs' offensive line had a more difficult job with that field the way it was. Which, by the way, you spent $800,000 on getting this brand new spanking field, sod, beautiful, putting it in, and all this kind of shit, and that's what it fucking does. Yeah. And I know some people were trying to blame the paint. The paint was dry, and the people were slipping. They weren't slipping on the paint. They were slipping on the fucking grass. That grass was fucking atrocious.
You know what's the funny part?
Atrocious.
The funny part about the person ahead of the I guess sodding, the sod father.
Toma. He's been there forever.
He's about 10 minutes, lives about 10 minutes from me. I was like, oh, good.
Does he? Toma? Yeah, he's like 92 years old, 92, 94, something like that. Yeah, he's done every Super Bowl.
This was his last one.
Yes, I heard that. Boy, you left that on a fucking banger.
Like, I was like, you're about halfway through, and you've seen all these players flop and everything. I'm like, he probably just said, just fuck it. Just put that out there. I don't care. It's my last day.
I don't know if they overwatered it. I don't know what the case is, but the fact that you're in Arizona, they had it outside,
and they had
during the week.
They had the dome open, so air out.
Again, they don't even really need to air it out. That's what I mean. You're in a desert. It was outside. Like, my only question is, like, did they overwater it? Is this? I want to. All of a sudden, though, everybody was talking about, we want real grass instead of artificial turf. All of a sudden, you have these turf companies walking in like Vince McMahon, be like, well. Oh, look at all these side boys. Look at over here saying they want to play on natural grass. Looks like AstroTurf is here to stay, boys. Whee! I don't know why he's a Texan.
I was gonna say, why is Vince a Southern boy?
I don't know. That's just how I feel that somebody who leads the Field Turf Corporation sounds. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. It's just that's headcanon for me. But, so that's just how we're going with that.
But yeah, getting back to Gannon here for a second. I mean, if you really look at it, again, minus the holding penalty at the end of the game there, Philly's defense was put in a hole with the fumble that went for 7, and then I think it was still in the first half, the kickoff that Kansas City took back to like the 5 or the 10 yard line. So right there's 14 points that you cannot put on that defense. So right there, before Kansas City's last drive, they're already down 14 points. That could have been a different outcome. And for people to say, thank God Gannon's gone now, he's with Arizona, and good luck there with Kyle Murray. But I don't put the blame on him.
That is a rough. That's a rough go. That is a rough go. Godspeed, Mr. Gannon. Here's the thing. You don't get to the Super Bowl by being bad. And anybody who wants to blame Gannon for, listen, part of the reason that the Eagles were there was because of their defense. And before the game, their defense was being lauded as a fantastic defense, one that was going to shut the Chiefs down, one that was doing all that. Blah, blah. Again, this is what I think happened when you played the teams you played. Like, you played the Giants, who were vastly overachieved and did not belong on that field with the Eagles. As a Giants fan, I know that's hard for me to admit, but let's face fucking facts. The Giants did not belong on that field with the Eagles. And then you play the Niners, who defense was on the field all game because their offense was going 3 and out constantly because they couldn't throw the fucking ball. So I don't think you had a true gauge of how either good their defense was or any possible holes that their defense had. That's the other thing, is like, when you have good competition, you get to see not only what you do well, but where you might have flaws. You learn from a lot of mistakes, you learn from things like that, and you can get better. The Eagles didn't have that in their run to the Super Bowl. The Giants game was over within the first 10 minutes. And the 49ers game was over within the first 5 minutes. Yeah. So
you can't base it just off of the playoffs. I mean, you got to look at it, since we had an easy schedule. I mean, we did play a few good teams. Obviously Dallas.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be throwing Dallas into that mix.
Well, not the Cooper Rush Dallas, the late in the season Dallas game.
Even late in the season Dallas is, let's look at Dallas's resume. Again, Dallas had a decent record, but with what strength of schedule? With what did they win? Who did they beat? And again, you saw what happened. They went and played a team with a rookie quarterback who did just enough to win, who didn't make any mistakes, whereas their quarterback made mistakes left, right, and center against a great defense who was able to pin their ears back and play well. Dallas didn't do so well. You know what I mean? So, like, again, the Eagles were a good team. Were they as good as a lot of Eagles fans and a lot of people who jumped on that hype train thought they were? I don't know, and I don't think we can ever know because, again, you have to base a lot of it on the competition. And that's the other thing, too. In general, the NFC is a weaker conference than the AFC in general. Again, the AFC has their weak teams. Let's face facts. They have the Colts. They have, the Raiders. They have the Browns. So the AFC does have their dog shit franchises. But, they also have the Bills, the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Steelers put it on in the last half of the year once they got a TJ back and Kenny Pickett kind of really blossomed there at the end of the year. As much as they were middling, the Titans are an okay team. Then you have the Jaguars, who made that late season run where they won 7 of 8 or 8 of 9, like something ridiculous. Yeah. Where the Jaguars all of a sudden were like, oh, okay, here's a team. You have the Ravens with Lamar Jackson for now. They blew a couple games and they have their own issues on defense and they have a lot of issues on offense about how they're going to conduct themselves, but they're still a dangerous team and they're still a team that can win games. So like the AFC is a tougher conference overall than the NFC. So again, this isn't a knock on the Eagles because the Eagles, listen, you can only beat who's in front of you. Yeah. I said that when the Giants were 7-1 and everybody's like, oh, they look fake. I was like, you can only play the teams that they put in front of you. And we did. And then in the second half of the year, we decided to shit the fucking bed, which is like, okay, this is kind of almost what I expected because we were overachieving. Then everybody gets hurt. We're playing with practice squad receivers. We have no defense what to speak of, so eventually that catches up with you. Okay, that's fine. You understand that. But the Eagles, I think they played weaker competition. They finally played a team that kind of figured them out in the football team of Redskin Commanders. And then they went out immediately to shore up that issue, which was the running game. Because that's how Washington beat you, was they just ran the ball, controlled time of possession, beat the Eagles. Yeah. And that all of a sudden was like, okay, there's a formula. And the Eagles said, fuck you, it is. And they went out and they got Ndamukong Suh and they got what's his face from the Bears?
Joseph.
So they started short. They're like, listen, we're not going to let that happen again. And to be fair, they ran that kind of play. The Eagles' time of possession in the Super Bowl was what you would expect a team that's going to win the Super Bowl to have. Yeah. They had a shit ton of time of possession. But the issue was, especially in that second half, is that Kansas City, for all their possessions, they scored on every single one. Yeah. They scored on every single possession in the second half. And the Eagles scored a field goal and a touchdown in the second half after scoring 24 points in the first half. So you outscore your opponent 24-10 in the first half, or 24-14 in the first half, and then you get outscored 24-11 in the second half. Yeah. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know if Sirianni got more conservative with the play calling, if he didn't make adjustments where Kansas City did, and then couldn't adjust to what Kansas City adjusted to. Like, I don't know. Well,
okay, now I'm going to sound like I'm a hypocrite here. In a way, I do have to blame Gannon there for a little bit. Even though I just said that I don't blame this loss on him, I don't.
I don't blame Gannon, but that motherfucker fucked up.
But once you see that KC running back, and I'm calling him
Pacheco, baby.
Okay, Pacheco. I was going to call him Pikachu. Pika. It's kind of close, but
Pacheco.
He was running all over us, and
Rutgers, baby.
He
Woo,
just
Scarlet
you know,
Knights, Jersey.
Gannon just didn't do anything to shore up that aspect of it. And to be honest, Mahomes shouldn't have won the MVP. That kid should have won the MVP.
I heard some people arguing that, and I think that's a legitimate argument.
Wow,
Pacheco really was
Mr. Oh, he's a tough guy. He should be the MVP.
I still
He's
would
not
have
a tough guy.
No,
He's
I still
got
would have
good
given it to
drugs.
Mahomes. I still would have given, dude. When I watched that first drive of the second half, where his ankle's basically powder at this point, and he's converting third downs, and he's making a place to keep the drive alive, and you see the replay, and you're like, oh man, what a good run. I guess his ankle's okay. And then they do the replay where they have the field level camera on him, and you see his face is in absolute agony as he's running. I'm sorry. I had respect for Mahomes anyway for his ability and what he was able to do. I have even more respect for him after that game, just for straight out toughness. I'm not like, listen, you can shit on him, you can shit on his wife, you can shit on his stupid ass brother for all they do. But man, his ability to gut that out. Yeah, I'm sure that he had some fucking Toradol running through his system. Absolutely. But Toradol can only do so much. And that's what it means. Like, this dude's ankle has been bothering him for 4 weeks now since that Jaguars game. And he still went out there, got re-aggravated there at the end of the first half to the point where he was hobbling off the fucking field again.
Did his best
LeBron
James
gonna come
impersonation.
back. But, man, I'll tell you what, like, him gutting that out, and everyone's going to sit there and say, well, he only had like 130 yards and stuff like that, which is true and pisses me off because I missed my 7-leg parlay by that one leg.
Oh, I got one better for you. I thought I hit the Gainwell one.
Gainwell played okay in that game.
No, he did. But I put a $2 bet on him to score the first touchdown of the game, which would have won me $42. And when he hit that end zone, I'm like, oh my God. Like, I knew it was a long shot. And I thought I won $42 until they put the replay. I'm like, you son of a bitch, couldn't be 6 inches taller.
Yeah. Dude, you want to talk about something? That 7-leg parlay I had was $5. Would have won me $570.
Yeah.
Missed it because I had Mahomes over 292.
And that was
in passing.
The 292, I really thought he was going to have about 350.
I thought he was going to, I mean, you think it's Patrick Mahomes, it's Kansas City Chiefs. I'm like, he's going to, if I freaked out when Kadarius Toney got the touchdown.
That's the one I didn't think was going to hit.
I was like, because that's the one I was like, okay, that one's the long shot of my parlay. But I was like, if that one hits, we're going to be pretty good. And sure, because as soon as that one hit, the only one that was left, there was two left. There was the Chiefs money line, and there was Mahomes with the 292. And I was like, oh my God. And then I went and I looked at the yardage he had at that point, and it was like he had like 130 something. I was like, okay, so he needs like 160 more yards passing. And at that point, it's like the beginning of the fourth quarter. I was like, well, fuck. I'm gonna son of a bitch.
But yeah, I mean, that, you said about people are saying, oh, well, look at the stats. I mean, again, I've been saying for a couple weeks now, you look at Trent Dilfer with the Ravens. He had the same exact stats as Mahomes, minus 2 touchdowns. Mahomes had 3 touchdowns. Dilfer had 1. That was the only difference. And you got this kid, again, I'm going to call him Pikachu because I don't want to butcher his name. He's the one that kept the drives alive, majority of them, especially in the second half. And I to me, most valuable player means just what that means. If it wasn't for that kid, maybe all the pressure would have been on Mahomes, and maybe he would have, the ankle would have crumbled.
I don't know. I just man, I don't know. My brain just went blank. I don't know what happened. Do you ever have that happen? You have a thought in your head, you get ready to say it, and then it's like your reboot.
How many times on the show have I done that?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So it makes you feel better.
So I just don't. I feel. I was just going to say I don't understand what changed in the game plan from the Eagles from the first half to the second half to the point where you have a game very well in hand. You have a 10-point lead, and your offense is able to move at will, it seems like. And you go from that to scoring a touchdown and a field goal in the second half, 11 points because you got the 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
And like, to me, I don't know if it came off as more conservative. I don't know if it came off as just the Kansas City's defense adjust and Philadelphia wasn't able to. I don't know, because I had a feeling that I had a feeling that, you know, it seemed like this was going to be, even if Kansas City was able to come back, if Kansas City could get 1 or 2 stops, it could be close.
Yeah.
And they got more than 1 or 2 stops in that second half. And it was like, I didn't see that coming. With the way the first half went, I did not see Philadelphia all of a sudden not being able to move the ball at will.
Yeah.
And that to me was that second half coaching, second half performance, along with the unforced turnover on Jalen Hurts in the first half, as well as he played, and maybe one of the best Super Bowl games we've ever seen. That mistake is an absolute contributing cause as to why the Eagles lost.
And the killer about that too, if you think about it, all throughout the year, he doesn't turn the ball over. You know, he was very low on interceptions. I'm not sure the exact number, but I know I believe it's below 10, double digits. Fumbles, I don't think he had a fumble all year, and it was a freak thing. He was trying to switch it over to the other hand and just hit his knee and popped out. So it's just like a freak thing that happened. And
you think about that. And the other thing I didn't think about, where we were talking about the officials and everything like that before, that fumble return for a touchdown that they called back because they said it wasn't a catch was absolute dog shit.
That was the right call.
That was absolute dog shit
that
call.
He never had full possession. The ball was in his hands.
Two hands down, and he turned the field. That's a fucking foot. What more do you want him to have to do?
When he
never had possession.
Full possession. He was still pulling it into his chest.
And he turned his body upfield. That's a catch.
Nope.
Absolute catch. A dog shit call on replay. They even fucking overturned that. What the fuck are you talking about? And then Mike Pereira comes on and says, well, he didn't take a third step.
Exactly.
And nowhere in the rules is there a third step clause. Yes. Nowhere. No.
Yeah.
There's not.
They always say that. You got to make a football move, then a step.
They say establish the catch, establish possession,
which he
2
didn't.
feet down, and do a football move. Catching the ball 2 feet down and turning your body upfield, that's a football move. That's a catch. Nowhere does it say take a third fucking step. Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere.
He did not have that ball put away before he turned his body. He had his body turned before that ball was put away.
I'll say this. I also think that the fucking Devontae Smith catch, that wasn't a catch. I don't think it was a catch, but I don't think there was all that much in the replay to overturn that one either.
It was a lot closer than the week before.
Probably should have stood. That one was a lot closer than the one in the NFC Championship game. That's for fucking sure. But, you know, that's another one where it was like, it should be clear and obvious evidence. And if you're taking 6 minutes under the fucking hood, as much as I'm glad that it wasn't a catch and I was rooting against the Eagles, and I'm always like, fuck the Eagles. If it takes you 6 minutes to look at the fucking thing and it's not clear and obvious, leave the call as it is.
Yeah.
So again, there were officiating mistakes on both sides.
The whole game.
That last holding call was
a bad
one
call.
of the good calls that was made, and the correct one that should have been made. So I mean, that is what it is. And the field sucked. Halftime was terrible. Rihanna grabbing her crotch and sniffing her fingers was not exactly the best. You know, I wish there was maybe somebody else there
doing the Illuminati symbol. Or did they?
I saw people. Whatever, because she wore red. So she like Satan, and then she did the Illuminati. But here's the other thing. Let me bring this up to all you Illuminati people out there and you religious fanatics, and people who do that shit. Always like, oh, well, Satan's everywhere. Like, they look at the Sam Smith performance at the Grammys. Like, see, Satan is everywhere. Well, the song's named Unholy. What the fuck do you want it to be? You know. Anyway, so they see Rihanna and they see her in a red suit and they see her doing the fucking diamond triangle fucking thing for the diamond in the sky. But no, that means Illuminati. Okay, but they didn't show that on the broadcast.
Yeah.
The Illuminati symbol wasn't shown. It was shown on, like, you know, people saw it on social media and TikTok, people who were there recording it on their phones.
Yeah.
There is where you saw it. So if you're the Illuminati if you want to like expand your influence and show all this stuff and have the biggest impact, wouldn't you want it on the broadcast? So right there just throws your entire conspiracy theory into fucking nothing. You're dumb. You're stupid. Stop going to church. Look at reason. Read a fucking book.
So
not the Bible.
Speaking of the halftime show, I know me and you weren't that impressed with it. One of the worst, or would you put it like a mid-tier?
No, it's not. Here's the thing. It wasn't bad.
Okay.
It wasn't a bad performance outside of her, grabbing her crotch and sniffing her fingers. That was a choice. Weird. That was a choice. Listen, I'm all for, like inappropriate behavior and shit, but maybe not in a fucking Super Bowl halftime show.
Maybe she was seeing for crop preserver.
Stop. I already stop it. Stop it before you get in trouble. Stop it. Okay.
I'll behave.
I think here's the thing. It wasn't a spectacle. It wasn't I think back to last year's, which was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Was amazing halftime show. You had a bunch of artists. It was a spectacle. It was fun as fuck. It just had everything that a halftime show should have. Rihanna just, granted, I would not be on those fucking floating ass platforms, especially at the end. That thing was getting a little wobbly.
Yeah.
I'm watching that and I'm like,
especially
holy shit,
pregnant.
man, I'd be fucking freaking the fuck out. That thing is fucking moving.
Yeah.
But again, not the worst. I think that one's probably the Coldplay and Beyonce doing the Mars thing. That was that's the thing. When people bring up the halftime show and they're like, oh, the one with Beyonce and Bruno Mars, and then everybody forgets that Coldplay was the headline act of that one. That's how you know it was a bad halftime show.
Yeah.
So you have that. You have a couple others that were really fucking atrocious. So Rihanna's wasn't bad. It was, she has some bangers. She was just popping them out there. That's great. That's fine. But it wasn't anything special. It's not something I'm going to sit there and remember. It wasn't Lady Gaga jumping off the roof, which we missed because the asshole decided to get into a fight in your fucking dad's bar. Cocksuckers.
I had to throw the jersey away because it was all blood on it and shit.
Yeah. That was. Hey, I'll tell you, that was the comeback Super Bowl. That was the Patriots comeback Super Bowl. That was. That was, man, we got everything that night.
Oh,
that was
something else I want to put up there. Like last week we were talking about the stats about when wearing the white jerseys during Super Bowl is this record and blah blah.
Right.
Philadelphia and Atlanta Falcons are the only two teams to ever give up double-digit leads in the fourth quarter. There's a big difference between 28-3 and what were we, 24-14?
Well, you were in it wasn't 10 points by the fourth quarter. It was only 10 points at halftime.
Or halftime, yeah.
And then the Chiefs scored in their first possession of the second half, and then it was just it was on from there. They kept on rolling.
Two totally different situations. You cannot put them together.
But because when you're 28-3 with 2 minutes left in the third quarter and you're 24-10 at halftime, it's two vastly different things. But that's what I mean. Stats are what stats are. And people always say numbers never lie, but if you try to pump those numbers up, I'm gonna kick you in the ball because those numbers do lie. But I will say this, and maybe only because the Eagles lost, but as objectively as I can be with the fact that the Eagles were in this game, maybe one of the best Super Bowls I've ever seen. It was an absolute banger of a Super Bowl. It was a fun watch, high scoring, kind of like I had thought it was going to be. It was a back and forth. It had drama. It had amazing plays. It had gutsy performances. Fucking Jalen Hurts was fucking balled out like a fucking beast, like a dog. Mahomes doing his thing, Pacheco setting his fucking flag in the NFL, saying, "All right, I'm a sixth round pick here or whatever he is, from Rutgers, Jersey, dirty Jersey, baby," and marking his place in the NFL in that game, giving him something there. Just a great all around Super Bowl, despite the fact that the field was shit. Despite the fact that Rihanna sniffed her fingers after grabbing her
That
cooch,
really bothered you, didn't it?
It's one of those things that jars you out of it. It's like, okay, halftime. Oh, she's performing. Oh, look. Oh, she's shaking her ass. Oh, she's pregnant again. Good for her. Wait, what the fuck did she just do? Pardon me? Like, listen, I have grabbed a few crotches and then stuffed my fingers in a day, consensually. I'm not Donald Trump here.
Yeah.
But that was a little, I'm sorry, it was a little much. It was a choice. It was a choice.
Yeah.
Not sure it was the right one, but it was a choice. But overall, I think it was a good Super Bowl. Had a great logo.
It did. It did
I
stand
really like
out.
the logo. Did you see the one for next year?
I saw them unveiling it, and I'm like,
I have it posted a little bit. It's a little, the resolution isn't great because it hasn't like officially come out. It's just kind of look at that. Great fucking logo.
yeah.
Vegas is going to be man. I'll tell you what, you couldn't get a better place to have a Super Bowl in my mind than Vegas. This is going to be fun. I might go out there just for the Super Bowl fest.
There we
just
go.
say fuck it.
We'll have a live show out there.
Hey, Manscaped, maybe sponsor us to go out to Vegas for the Super Bowl next year.
There we go. See,
because I can't afford it myself, so I'm gonna need to do it on your dime. But I'll tell you what, man, I think it's I think that's good. So they're getting they're getting better with the logos and stuff like that. But overall,
yeah,
the game itself, I think, was a great game, a memorable game. It's one that I think will be remembered as a top 10 Super Bowl, if not higher. It was a fun game. It was a good game. It was everything you want the Super Bowl to be. It wasn't lopsided. It wasn't a blowout. It wasn't, oh, this sucks. It wasn't a snooze fest like the Patriots and Rams one was. And what was that, 44? No, 41, 42?
I think that one I try to forget.
Or 50. Well, yeah, I'm thinking I went 40. 53. No, yeah. Which one? Yeah, no, 53?
Do, 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 do. You need some Jeopardy music to help you?
Because 52 was when the Eagles won.
Yeah,
52 was Eagles. 53, I think, was the Patriots and the Rams. 54 was the Chiefs. 55 was the Buccaneers.
And last year was
and
the Rams.
No, then that's wrong then.
Because the Rams played the Chiefs last year and Mahomes lost. That was like another narrative they were talking about.
41 was the Patriots and Falcons.
Yeah.
42 was the Eagles and Patriots. 53 was Patriots and Rams. Yeah. 54 was Chiefs 49ers. 55 was Buccaneers Chiefs. You're right. 56 was Rams Bengals. This is 57 Eagles Chiefs. Okay. Chiefs. Yeah. I had lost. I forgot how to count for a second. That will happen.
Can you say that one more time, please?
Oh, go fuck yourself.
As far as the game, as a fan, not an Eagles fan talking, how it was going, I had it as a top 5. I had it as a top 3 Super Bowl. And this might be the little part of the Eagles fandom coming out of here, but not being able to see if Jalen Hurts could do a final drive, and I'm blaming the ref and all that stuff, but just not to be able to see Jalen Hurts, if he could do a final drive, drops it to a top 5 Super Bowl for me. I mean, it really, I agree. It was a very entertaining game. Even at halftime, being up 10 points, it didn't feel like 10 points. It felt like it was tied. At least from my side of it.
I'll bet you there's probably some Kansas City fans out there who thought it felt more like a 24-point lead, and we're like, shit, we're fucked. Just the way things were going.
Yeah.
And I listen. I agree that I feel like, man, we were cheated out of seeing what could have been a wonderfully dramatic end to this Super Bowl, to see what Jalen Hurts did. Was this going to be like his making moment? Was this going to be like one of those incredible things? Would they have gone 3 and out? Would there have been field goal range? Would it have been an interception? Would it have been any number of things? Like the drama was there, and we got robbed of it. But it's not the referee who robbed us. It was James Bradbury who robbed us of that, and that's his fault for stealing that from us, and from the viewing public. And at the end of the day, do you want the calls right? Do you want the calls to be fair, or do you want a good narrative? And people have always screamed about wanting to get the calls right. The NFL has to do everything they can to get the calls right, to get the calls right, to get the calls right. And then they get a call right, and people bitch because it fucked with the narrative. Well, you can either have a scripted product, or you can have a product where the calls are made right. You can't have both. So I say to everybody like that who's like, oh, you can't throw the flag in that situation, suck the fattest part of my dick, because you're dumb as shit and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's my personal opinion. That is not representative of Stay Tuned Sports or of Jim, obviously. But me personally, John Quincy King, just sitting right here, you're fucking stupid if you're one of those people that sit there and say, and I've been seeing a lot of talking heads do it. Rich Eisen's talked about it, Dan Patrick, Pat McAfee even have been like, oh, you can't make that call. You can't do that. You can't make that call. Shut the fuck up. You have to make that call. And you guys have always been the ones beating the drum about the referees getting it right and the referees getting the calls right. Well, here's a case where the referees got the call right, and you're still fucking crucifying them for it. So you can't you can't win for losing. You know, it's like you're just going to bitch about it anyway. So I'd rather the calls be right. And it's unfortunate that we got robbed of some drama, but that drama being robbed from us is not the fault of the referee. It's the fault of James Bradbury. That's whose fault it is. That's the end of the story. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
I blame the Illuminati.
Fucking Rihanna. Taylor Swift should have shown up. At least that would have been entertaining.
That would have definitely dropped it down to the worst freaking halftime show.
Then there definitely would have been some Illuminati shit. You know?
So do you want to touch on a little bit of the coaching changes, or you want to say that for next week?
Well, you know, we know the Eagles have lost both their OC and DC.
Yes.
Their offensive coordinator, what the fuck is his name? Schnishner?
Steichkin.
He's now the head
guy.
Coach. That guy. He's now the coach of the Indianapolis Colts. God bless him. And Gannon, as we talked about before, is now the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. God bless him. Having to deal with Kyler. So that's great. But what that also means, personally for me, is great news, because that means all the head coaching vacancies are filled. Yeah. And that means that Wink Martindale and Kafka are back for the Giants, which means that our core coaching staff is back. That means Daniel Jones, if he does sign with us again, which I think he will, that means he gets, for the first time in, I think, maybe his career, or only, you know, he'll have somebody who's worked with for 2 years in a row. Yeah. That's not shitting on him. You know, it's not Jason Garrett. So I think that's it. The only person he had for more than 1 year was Jason Garrett. And that's not the person you want to have being your offensive coordinator. So we saw what he's able to do with Kafka this year. The Giants should be able to get some more pieces for their team. So I like the fact that we keep our coaching together. Now we see what we do with the roster. But
I think I'm excited. As far as Philly, I don't think the Gannon loss is going to be a big loss, but our OC, I think, is going to hurts. Not to be a...
it's going to jail in Hurts.
Because it's shown since he's been in college with Bama and Oklahoma, and then early on in the NFL, he needs that consistent offense coordinator. You know, he had the same offense coordinator for 2 years now, and the last time that was when he was in high school with his father. And we see the numbers he put up. Now, can he adjust to that and get over that? And also, I hope Sirianni is not going to be calling the plays. You know, does this move, because they promoted the quarterbacks coach to OC officially. So,
I don't know, man.
It's going to be interesting.
You're going to see what kind of coach Sirianni is now. Third year. He had an overachieving first year, which I can now identify with Dave Ball and the Giants. He had an absolutely stellar second year. I don't think anybody can argue about that. You make it to the Super Bowl and almost win it.
Yeah. Damn ref.
You know, so you have that. Bradbury fucked you over there.
Oh, the rest name is Bradbury? Oh.
And now you see where next year takes you. And that's the thing is success is a double-edged sword is, you know, yes, you were very successful this year, but now, again, you have your defensive coach poached, your offensive coach is poached. And now you see, you know, this is where, as the head coach, what decisions you make, who you put in there as your new coordinators, you know, how you maneuver around that, what your philosophy is, how do you change anything? Do you try to keep everything the same? Do you this is where all that comes into play. So now we're going to see if Sirianni is a dog, or is he gonna, you know, is this going to go the same way the 2017 team did, which was fall off a fucking cliff?
Which
is, I don't think that's the case because I think you have a little bit more security in the quarterback position.
Yeah.
And then whatever pieces you guys can find to put around there, and if you lose some pieces, if you lose, my biggest thing for you guys right now would be if Kelsey retires, that's
gonna be huge. Yeah.
He's gone. You know, Fletcher Cox, if he retires, that's a huge piece gone.
Well, he's a free agent.
Well, that's what I mean. Well, he might retire as well. Even being a free agent, he
That's
just
true.
might retire.
Yeah, he's up there.
So, you know, well, you had a lot of them come back this year saying they wanted to come back because they thought they had another run in them.
Yeah.
Well, they made the run and they didn't make it. Do they stay again to try to make another one, or you know, because that's it. You know, Jason Kelsey's no spring chicken.
Oh no.
You know, Fletcher Cox. You know, he's not. I don't know, a young rooster. I don't know how they fucking say that shit. He's no fall rooster or
There you
something.
go.
I don't know. But so, I mean, I think there's questions there for the Eagles. But, you know, I think there's questions for a lot of teams. And this is the thing, too. I think back to the beginning of the year, everybody was kind of passing over the Chiefs, you know, because everybody was like, well, you lost Tyreek Hill, and Juju Smith-Schuster's not a great replacement for that. They're not going to go anywhere without Tyreek Hill. You know, people were picking the Broncos and the Raiders, even the Chargers to do better than the Chiefs. And you know, that the Chiefs were, some people said the Chiefs were going to be lucky to make the playoffs if they made the playoffs at all.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. And at the end of the day, as I kind of said all year during my power rankings, the Chiefs is the Chiefs, and the Chiefs is the Chiefs until somebody knocks them off the top. And so far, you're talking about a team that's had 5 straight AFC Championship games at home. Not just made it to 5 AFC Championship games, 5 AFC Championship games at home. They've now made it to 3 Super Bowls. They've won 2, which is, again, an incredible feat for a 5-year span for a team to be doing what the Chiefs are doing. And at this point, no matter what pieces get brought in, brought out, who either stays or leaves as coordinator. I guess Bieniemy's going to stay another year because all the head coaching jobs are already filled.
He's supposed to be interviewing for the OC job in Washington.
Wow, man, that's why. Why would you go a lateral move?
I don't know.
Unless Bezos is the one that is going to buy Washington, which it seems like that's what's going to happen. And then you can just get all that sweet, sweet Amazon money. I get that. I understand that. Fine. Let me go there.
Yeah.
Make me the prime OC, you know. Fine. I get that. But otherwise, I don't know why you would do that. You know, you got a chance to have a pretty good collection of rings there in Kansas City.
As long as they keep the refs around. But go ahead.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You know. I'm going to buy you a James Bradbury jersey.
That's fine.
Just for you, just, you know, and I'm gonna make sure the one end is just, you know, pulled a little bit,
stretched out,
just so you always know, you know, it was old Jimmy James Bradbury that cost you that Super Bowl. Again, and that's the other thing too. Bradbury didn't cost anybody. They didn't cost the Eagles the Super Bowl. He cost the opportunity to try to either tie or win the game.
Yeah,
that's the issue, and it's not the official, because the official made the correct call. He made the right call, which is what anybody always says and always bitches about, is, oh, we want these refs to get the calls right. We need to get these calls right. Well, the referee made the right call, and people are still bitching about it. So you either want the fucking right call or you want the fucking script written in a narrative. You can't have fucking both. That's not the referee's fault. It's just Bradbury cost the Eagles the opportunity and cost all of us the opportunity to watch what would have been or could have been a super dramatic fucking finish. And that's just a shame of it. That's a shame of it. But I don't know, man. That's about it. I really have nothing more to add. I think we covered the Super Bowl pretty well.
Yeah. We still got XFL this weekend.
I'm excited. The Battlehawks are back, baby. Yeah. Let's go.
Is it just Sunday or is it Saturday and Sunday?
It's Sunday. I don't know when. I don't know. It might be Saturday. Yeah, I'll have to see when the schedule is. I think they spread it out a little bit. But
so don't worry, everybody. I'm definitely picking whatever team is Kings. I'm picking their rival, so you'll have plenty more laughs.
That's the Vegas Vipers, because they poop standing up.
Never mind. I'm not picking them. But yeah, and then we got the NFL offseason coming up. We have Stanley Cup Finals. It's going to be starting soon.
Season's coming. Hockey's in the midst of it, which is cool because I also I did hit a bet last night. My New Jersey Devils coming up. I had them for a parlay of the 60-minute money line.
Okay.
And under 5.5 goals. The Devils score with 1.6 seconds left to win the game 3-2. So it's 5 goals, not because it was the spread was 5.5. Didn't do that, so the Devils win under 5.5. Give me my fucking money, baby. Yeah.
So that's gonna be it for us this week. Till next week. This is your good friend Jimbo,
and it's your boy King.
See ya.